And direct. It's beautiful Monday. I love Mondays, man. Ain't nothing like a start of a new week. Fresh set of opportunities. Chance to get you some new money. Make some shake for yourself and your family. Sorry I had to jump off and come right back. But what's up? Miss Bundles of Joy. Joe, is that you? James Kirk. I'm assuming that's James Kirk. Ha! That's funny. What's up, y'all? So I wanted to share something about probate properties. Is the reason why I'm here. And oh hey, what's good? Joe, your boy is driving me crazy. I'll have to call you when I get to Florida this week, but your boy is driving me absolutely insane. But we're moving along. So listen, I wanted to share. I've been really focusing on probates in terms of leads, and it's been pretty lucrative, I'll say, but it also takes a lot more time, and it's just a lot more that goes into it. Hey Tina, hey, buy back the block LA, what's good? Hey Naomi, how y'all doing? Right, so there's pros and cons. Obviously, you know, the deals that I've closed, I've made a lot more money than I would have with some of the other lead sources. But again, they're taking, you know, average like 3-4 months to complete. But one thing that I've noticed, so first let's start off with probates. For those of you who don't know, what up, though? What you talking like you from Detroit? Probate, right? So we've heard of this, but I don't know if all of us are like exactly clear on what it is. So probate is basically, I got you, Mega. Probate is basically the term that describes the like gathering together or corralling of one's assets, and then so you have to get together all their assets, pay their debts, and then distribute. So that's kind of like the process of probate, right? So when you hear, oh, we got to go through probate, what they're basically saying is that we have to go to court, we have to assess all of the assets, identify rather all of the assets for a person, all of their expenses or their debts, and then whatever is left over, we have to distribute it to the rightful owner, beneficiaries, heirs, whatever the case may be. So that is the process of probate in a nutshell. And that's part of the reason why it generally takes longer than a lot of your more traditional types of deals. Because again, you have to corral all these people together. You know, you got to go to court, and like right now, you know, in the next couple of weeks, it'll be several days where the court will be shut down because of the holidays, and just, you know, all these different types of things. There are a lot more steps involved in these deals, right? So the things that have been, and these are not even all real estate related things, but I just noticed that they were kept showing up, right? So for one, obviously, okay, just to give y'all a little background on probates and why they're so powerful. Anybody ever heard of the baby boomers? So there are like 70 plus million baby boomers in our world. They own, like, they're responsible for, not responsible, but they have, we hit a 50 banger. Yeah, shit. Yes, trust me, I know. I hit like 27 like a month ago. Anyways, the baby boomers, tons of them, and they got like 60% of the wealth. Well, those are the people who are now basically getting old and dying off and downsizing, right? So they go through that process of downsizing. You know, they moved out of their house that they bought and lived in for 30 years. You know, they're downsizing, moving to retirement communities, smaller homes, whatever the case may be, and also dying, right? So that's where the probate situation kind of comes in. So a lot of the people that the decedents that we're dealing with in our probate properties are baby boomers, right? And so again, like she said, I didn't know those dates off the top of my head, but is that 46 to 64? Okay, cool. So those people, what I'm noticing is, well, let me back up. As a part of my research, I'm going to show y'all. I love y'all. I'll be giving y'all so much. As a part of my research, I look up people's death certificates, right? This is all public information, so I'm not showing you nobody's business that you couldn't get if you wanted to, okay? So this is, I look up the death certificate. So I want to know, exactly what's going on. What's good, cuz? So this guy, this is the thing that I keep seeing. And believe it or not, I keep seeing it. It's not just black people. It's not just people that are from the South. It is people across. People, these baby boomers across. This guy was born in, he's actually older than a baby boomer. He was born in 1929. But it's people across the board. Yeah, we're talking about probate. People across the board have no education. It says 8th grade or less. Again, think about the timing of it. This is somebody who was born in 1929. He was born in McKillen, Louisiana. That's probably out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. But he had basically no education. Now, this is the other thing that I'm noticing. When obviously on the death certificate, it gives you the cause of death. I am noticing so many of my male decedents' causes of death being prostate cancer. Like so many of. Now again, y'all, this is not exactly real estate related, but these are, because I'm looking at so many of these are the trends that I'm noticing. Low to no education, and a lot of I haven't noticed a trend, be it black or white, but I'm just noticing a lot of my male decedents. When I look at the cause of death, it literally says prostate cancer. Now this one says prostate cancer with metastasis. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm assuming it has something to do with metastasizing, which is obviously not good. And this says, can y'all see? It's a little small, but it says approximate interval onset and death, 2 years. So that's meaning only 2 years from the time of onset to death. Y'all understand, like, how this is? My pop said it, okay. Yeah, so I feel like it's been talked about more in our community and stuff like that, but I don't know if it's talked about enough. You know what I'm saying? And I just say that based off of the fact that, like, this is really, like, obviously, again, you know that it's there, you know there's the possibility, but looking at these, like, now on average, y'all, let me show you this as well. On average, okay, show you. This is how many probate leads I got. Okay, my data size is ample. I have a sufficient data size. Okay, and this is what I'm noticing, that so many of them say, and not just any type of cancer, but specifically again prostate cancer among my male decedents. So I say all that to say, we're gonna talk some real estate stuff, but just to encourage the brothers, like, from what I understand, it's not the most comfortable of assessments, but listen, it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you gotta do to take care of your body. And also to the point of let me show y'all this again. 8th grade or less. Father's name, Reverend Luther. You're gonna get that man his title. Or less, right? So that always trips me out. It's like, black people are the shit. I hope if there are any white cousins on here, I love you. But you're the shit in your own special way too. But black people we're the shit, okay? Like, this man died when he was 89 years old. God bless him. He lived a full life. But he had less than an 8th grade education, and he made a life for himself and his family. You know what I'm saying? Like, he made shit happen with an 8th grade, less than an 8th grade education. Now, look how much more we have to work with in 2019. Like, you literally have every fucking thing that you need. Look at this. This may not seem like a lot to you, but Personal property, 25,000. Yeah, so he died with $25,000 of personal property, real property. So that's his real estate, 60,000. So a total of $85,000. I mean, this is, to me, this is something to be proud of. This man was born again in the 1920s, no education. You know, he probably had to figure out some skills for himself. He lived in, looks like he lived in Cleveland the majority of his adult life. I don't know what he did for work, but he made shit happen. He died owning property. He died owning some assets, some valuables. Like, imagine if he can do that with what he had to work with. Imagine what you can do with everything that you have at your disposal. And it's not about how much money you have, or if you went to college. It's not about that. It's strictly about, we live in like the most greatest time in the history of the world, where we have direct access to everything, to all of the knowledge, all of the information, all of the people that you need to make some shit happen for yourself. Again, God bless this man, born in 1920, no education, and did his thing. Like, you was born in the 80s, like the greatest. Like, come on, y'all. Like, let this inspire you. Let this encourage you to really understand, like, black people been making the most out of the least for forever. It's in you. It's a part of your DNA, okay? So you don't have, it's not to make it happen for yourself, okay? So those are just the two, like, kind of like non-directly related real estate things that I've been noticing and picking up on. Yeah, they handle their business. That's the majority of the men from the South in that area. Yeah, I agree. With probates, do you find that the Lord doesn't accept a wholesale offer? Well, you don't have to give them a wholesale offer, Sam. Because generally, to my original point about the baby boomers, generally they have a lot of equity in their property because, again, mind you, they've owned this property for generally 20, 30 years. They paid cash for it when it was dirt cheap, or even if they got a mortgage on it, when it was dirt cheap, they've paid that off generally by now. And now the property values have increased. So there's generally a lot of equity in the deal. So you don't have to try to get them at pennies on the dollar like you do with some of the other lead sources. Has to present it no matter price. Okay, so I don't know if that's the case here or not, but I just know that that's what I do. I go directly to the attorneys, and it helps because, again, they're giving me a warm transfer, and we're working on the same side, right? The attorney can't get paid until the court orders them so, right? So if I come and I say I can buy that property, or I have somebody to buy that property, at X amount of dollars, and for the attorney, they're thinking like, hell yeah, like, let's do it so that we can wrap up, that part of settling the estate so that they can get paid. So going through the attorney has helped me. Obviously, you saw the list that I have. Obviously, all of them are not always open to working or doing business, but it's a numbers game. You see how many I contact. A lot of them, maybe not on this one, but I always tell them, like, keep in mind, like, I enjoy helping out people in this situation. A lot of time, again, these properties, somebody in California might be the next of kin for their great uncle, who's lived in Cleveland his whole life and bought a property in Cleveland Heights, 30, 40, 50 years ago. He paid 25 grand for it. Now the house is worth $125,000. And he's like, yo, I really don't want to come back. I really don't want to, so, again, I don't have to. You don't have to come in with the lowball offer, and the attorney is happy to pass on the information that there is an interested buyer. Because most of the time, these people, that's the thing about probates. Like, there's a lot of different factors. Like, people are a lot of times emotionally charged. They're still dealing with the death of the loved one. This is an unexpected inheritance. They didn't expect to inherit a house, in Cleveland randomly like this. They're trying to deal with settling. Like, this is, let me show you. I'll use this file to show you. Settling the estate is no joke, because what you are legally mandated to do is to contact all of the decedents and the heirs, basically anybody who might have right to anything that to any of the assets of the decedent, you have to contact them and give them notice, like, hey, grandpa died, if you want. So let me show you. So this is that same gentleman, right? So this is his list of heirs or beneficiaries or whatever you want to call them, right? So he has, there's no surviving spouse. I'm assuming his wife preceded him in death. So next of kin is Timothy, who is his son. Okay, wow, so he got all kids. So 2 sons, 3 daughters. So see, this is a headache because you have to get people on the same page, right? All of those people agreeing to what person is going to be named the executor. So it looks like Timothy is the one who submitted or petitioned the court. So likely in that case, he will be named the executor or the administrator of the state and of the estate rather, and then he will be giving he will submit the death certificate, the will, if his dad had one, and then the judge will verify that will and say, okay, this will is good, we verify it, now let's, move to that part. Or if there was no will, he'll name him as the executor of the estate, meaning he is now in charge of dispersing. Remember that 85,000? He had 25,000 in personal property, 60,000 in real property. Timothy would be responsible for distributing that. Okay, so Mr. Lindsay had a will. Y'all want to see it? All my debts, expenses of my last illness, and charges be paid out of my estate. Okay, so this is beautiful. He's basically saying that anything that y'all have to pay as far as my funeral, if I get sick, which he obviously was, he's taking that out of his estate, meaning nobody has to come up with it. They don't have to pay it, pretty much. So he's covering it. He further directs that all estate, blah, 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 everything that he has, if any opposed on with respect to any property or interest, whether or not shall be paid by my executor. So that would be Timothy as it stands now from his estate. Okay, so he's paying all his bills, all his debts. He basically saying settle up out of my money. Okay, I hereby nominate and appoint. Okay, so see, Mr. Lindsay set it up in his will that Timothy would be named the executor, which is beautiful because, like we saw, he has all those kids. And, God forbid, 2 of his brothers and sisters don't want to agree that Timothy should be it. Well, Pops already stated that Timothy is going to be the executor of the will. And this is also another important piece. I direct that no bond shall be required, because a lot of times in a lot of cases, the court will require the executor to have a bond is insurance, to have insurance to basically cover them in case the executor makes a mistake or a huge, fuck up, for lack of better terms, that affects the estate, like that causes the estate to get sued or to lose a lot of money. That insurance will cover the estate so that it does not affect the beneficiaries. So Mr. Lindsay said no bond is necessary. He probably picked Timothy for a reason, so he trusted him. So he's good to go with no bond, which is helpful because it saves Timothy money and also the time. Because if you are required to get a bond, you have to submit all that paperwork to the court. The executor shall have full power to do any and all things necessary to complete, including the power to sell. Okay, so he's basically saying he's giving his son full power. He can do whatever he needs to do. The custodian act as for 9. Okay, in the event that the appointed shall die, be disqualified or executor. Okay, so basically he's saying if Timothy would have died, or is incapable or unwilling, because you don't have to accept to be the executor, then he was saying his daughter. And this is the executrix. That is the word for a female or for a woman executor of the estate, pretty much all. So basically, same thing for her. If Timothy's not available or not able, it will then go to Angelina, or whatever. No bond with the same rights and same powers. Okay, so he got all his kids named here. I have the following children. This is odd because when we look on here, I thought it said that he had 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there are 5. There are 5 kids listed on here. In his will, he states that he got 3 babies. Hold up now, something ain't jiving. Something is not jiving, Mr. Lindsay. What is going on? Pull it back up. Why is it not pulling up? Will admit it to probate. Okay. What's happening? Why is it not coming back up? Oh, there it is. Oh, shit. That's not it. Surviving spouse. That's that application to probate. Wow. This sucks. How do we lose it, y'all? Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So he's saying he got 3 kids. To my 3 dear children, Tim, Barbara, and Angie, all cash, intangible property contained with the safe deposit box in my name at PNC shall be divided by the executor into 3 equal shares. Okay, so they got to bust down whatever Pops had in the safe deposit box. Okay, grandchildren. He covered the grands. Aaliyah, Chris, and Javon. They get an equal 1/3 share of all the funds in the bank accounts. Okay, well that's dope because that should have been what did we say? 25,000. The name of Rufus. Okay, so that Odessa, that must have been his late wife. Look at these bank accounts: PNC bank certificate, U.S. Bank, Dollar Bank, a money market account. Okay. Savings account in Huntington. Okay, cool. So all of the grandkids get to bust that down. If they're less than 18, what's good, Mr. VIP? We're talking about probates right now. We're looking at somebody's will. If the kids are less than 18, then the money goes to Tim. Okay? All right, now he starts talking about the real estate. This is what we want. The property located at Maple Row, together with all the improvements, shall be sold by the executor, and the proceeds, net of the expenses of the sale, distributed in equal shares to my children, unless one or more of my children notify Tim within 90 days that he or she wants to keep the home. Okay, so basically he's telling Tim, I want you to sell the house and divide it up into my 3 real kids. The 2 other ones, it's slow for them. Divide it up between my 3 real kids, okay? However, if one of them says that they want to keep the house, then we got to hold up and pump the brakes. If all 3 children so notified the executor, the home shall go to all of my children to be theirs absolutely and in fee simple, share alike. But if only 1 or 2 of my children so notify the executor, the home shall go to that child or children to be theirs absolutely, sharing alike, so long as he or she buy out the 1/3 interest of the children who do not know the buyout to be paid, do not wish to keep the market value of the home, which such buyout payment to be made in cash. Okay, so basically what he said is that, okay, so he got 3 kids. So if all 3 of the kids tell Tim, what's up, DC? This is what you want right here. If all 3 of the kids tell Tim that they want the house, then they keep the house, and the house is divided equally among them. But if only one or two, not if only one or two of the kids say, then the house goes to them, but then they have to buy out the other party. They have to buy out the other party for their share. The share is based on the market value of the property, which is to be stated by a real estate appraiser that Tim would hire. Okay? Came home with this item, which with such buy payment to be made in cash from cash received at the same time. So, and this what this is saying is that they can use the cash that they have inherited from their dad to pay off or to buy out the other siblings, is what he said. In the event that anyone are notified that they wish to keep a home, at the same time as from under the item. Okay, there's a wish to retrieve property. Okay, so Tim got all his watches and jewelry. In the event that any such children do not survive me, then the share of my such preceded child shall pass to invest in each. Okay, so if God forbid one like Angie or something had passed away, then it went to Angie's kids. If I do not possess or own any property listed above and date of my death, the bequest of that property shall last. I give all the matter of my estates, wherever located, to my children equal shares. But if any child predecedes me, then his or her share will pass on. Okay, my executor and alternate executor shall serve without any bond, and I hereby waive the necessity of preparing or filing any inventory. Okay, this is beautiful. This is what all families need to do right here. So he basically saying all of the work that the court tries to tell you that you need to do, of listing all my assets and all my business and all of that in public record, you don't have to do. I've already stated in my will what I want to be done. My children have a very clear understanding of what's going on, and that's that. I direct that no expert appraisal be made of my estate unless required by law. If any part of my should be effective, yeah. So that's good. That's good. Which is also good for us because the first thing that he said was that he wanted that property to be sold. So if they are, and then what I would do is I'll look up each of the kids, right? And I'll see if they own property. And if they own property and I can tell it's their primary, then in most cases, they won't want the property. They would rather have the money unless it's in like a super high area or something like that. They want Pop said to sell it and we split it. We don't really know anything about real estate or rental properties or whatever the case may be. So we just want to sell it. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I talked to a lady the other day and her situation, I'm like, you should probably think about keeping this. Like if you need help, then, I can help you in that way. But I was like, you need to think about keeping this. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna contact, how do you get a copy of that? This is public. Sorry, somebody was calling me. Yeah, it's public record, family. I'm looking at the docket. See? Docket. Public record. I'm not even, when this live is over, I'm taking it down. So if you're here, you're blessed. If you're not, you fucking missed it. Okay, so this is where we're at in the process, right? So I think he died. I want to say he died in April. Let's double check. But yeah, y'all, a lot of this information is public record. Date of death. Okay, yeah, so he died April 25th, right? So you see how long it took for him to even file, for Timothy to even file? He just filed in August. So you see why I say it takes a long time. Like, this came up on my radar. He's on my list. He's at the top of my list that I've had for a while. But again, the PR or the personal representative didn't file the death certificate and didn't petition the court to start the probate process until August just 4 months after he passed away. Okay, so and then this process goes all the way up until 11/8, which is what, about 10 days ago. And this is where oh, thanks for that, Mac, I appreciate it. Okay, so as of November 8th, look, I'm looking at the docket. This is the last docket description. So on November 8th, notice of claim, PNC Bank, right? So remember I told you that the executor has to corral all of the assets and notify all of the creditors and settle all of the debt before anybody can get paid. Okay, so the claimant hereby gives notice to the probate court that a claim is due and owing by the decedent. Reach is the notice presented to the executor. Okay, so basically what they're saying is that the decedent, Mr. Lindsay, owes them $4,400, and they're saying that they gave a copy of this to Tim, so he knows what's going on. They want their money. So what is this, a credit card? Previous balance, yeah, this must be a credit card. Payment received 5/2. Wow, that's crazy. He was already dead by then. Did he have auto pay set up or like? Okay, look at this. Credit him now. What you think? What you imagine? He probably had a damn near 800 credit score, and only had a $9,600 limit on his card. He probably could have had 4 times that, and they could have been buying property. But that's another conversation for another day. Oh, look, Happy's Pizza. Oh, I hope that was him. I hope he enjoyed his Happy's Pizza a couple of days before he passed. Anyways, so this is what they're saying. They're saying that Mr. Lindsay owes them the $4,400, and they basically want their money. Okay, they want they little $4,400. So, Gene McCullen, I don't know who that is. Notice of fan. I don't know. But anyways, so they're gonna have to. Tim is going to have to give them that $4,000 unless he can prove that his father didn't really owe it, which it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. So out of all of those bank accounts that we mentioned, that we looked at, Tim's going to have to come up with that $4,400, pay them, or else he won't be able to settle the estate, and then everybody else won't be able to get their money. So what they're going to, mind you now, what the decedents, what the heirs are going to split is going to be net. It's going to be after, the expenses. Okay? So that's it. I'm about to go do my real probate training. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into this. Shout out to my students. We are going live in about 5 minutes for our class, but I just wanted to give you guys a little info on the probate process, and to encourage you to have the gentleman to go get the prostate examination, and to be encouraged and be inspired, because making stuff happen is in your DNA. You know what I mean? Black people have been doing that. This man was born in 1929 with less than an 8th grade education. And as you can see, looks like he raised a beautiful family, died with some assets. He will have something to pass on to his children and also to his grandchildren. So again, if he was able to make that happen with what little he had, think about what you could do with what you have. Okay? So this live will not be saved. So if you were here and you learned something, post about it and tag me so I can make everybody else jealous. All right, I'll talk to y'all. Peace.